In the news headline, Trade Union Congress of Nigeria (TUC) gives federal government 2-week ultimatum on palliatives. Court of Appeal acquitted Lamido and Sons over alleged money laundering. Jigawa State government petitions EFCC over alleged sale of owned houses by Kano State government. From the foreign scene, 2 people rescued, 17 others dies after boat capsized in Senegal. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, 7th Muharram 1444 after Hijrah of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which is 25th July 2023. I am Muslim Adam Iko with the news. Trade Union Congress (TUC) of Nigeria has issued a fresh 2-week ultimatum demanding that federal government fast-track planned palliatives measures to ease the burden on the citizens caused by fuel subsidy removal. The stipulated time frame came in the light of the federal government's apparent delay, several weeks after it hosted organized labor in a meeting where both parties agreed on the palliatives. TUC said it felt that Presidential Steering Committee is not working at an anticipated speed while Nigerians are suffering. The Labour Center, at a briefing with journalists in Abuja, said that the Congress will no longer continue to hear big grammar around the proposed palliatives while Nigerians trek long distances to their places of business. TUC National President Comrade Festus Osifo asked the Presidential Steering Committee on the palliatives to conclude its work quickly to meet the earnings of the battered Nigerian masses. Osifo also demanded that the federal government lead by example and reduce the cost of governance rather than pushing the burden of the subsidy removal and making an injury to the poor Nigerians. Justice Nicholas Oyibo of a Federal High Court in Lagos today admitted that suspended Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele to bail in the sum of 20 million naira. Mr. Emefiele is standing trial on a 2-count charge bordering on possession of a single-barrel shotgun as well as possession of 123 rounds of live ammunition without license. He, however, pleaded not guilty to the charge. After his plea, defense counsel Joseph Daudu, who led 4 other senior advocates, informed the court of a bail application filed on behalf of the defendant. The dense counsel told the court that SEM had been served on the prosecution, adding that there is a stamp of the Office of the Attorney General as proof. But the prosecutor, M.B. Jones, objected to the bail application on the ground that she had not been served with a copy of the application. She informed the court that her office had been on the lookout for a possible bail application of the defendant, but had seen none. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services (DSS) has arrested suspended Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) Godwin Emefiele. The Secret Police took custody of Emefiele shortly after a face-off with officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Emefiele, who has been in DSS detention since June, was arraigned in court today. Justice Nicola Oyibo has granted the suspended CBN Governor 20 million naira bails. The bail condition includes producing a surety with landed property within the jurisdiction of the court in Ikoyi, Lagos, depositing his passport, and also producing a civil servant not below a level of sustained to perfect bail. The judge had ordered that Emefiele should be remanded in prison pending fulfillment of his bail conditions. But rather than release the top bank chief to prison officials, the DSS attempted to take him away, a move that was resisted. During the scuffle that broke out, the uniform of a prison official was torn, revealing the singlet underneath. Vice President Kashim Shettima has disclosed that Nigeria has mobilized more than $500 million for an innovative, profitable, equitable, and sustainable food system transformation initiative. The Director of Information Office of the Vice President Olusola Abiola, in a statement, said that Shettima made this known while chairing a high-level meeting on the first day of the United Nations Food System Summit in Rome, Italy. Vice President explained that the funds were mobilized through domestic resources, multilateral development banks, international financial institutions, and climate fund by leading agro businesses. He said that the fund will be used for financing food system transformation, development of Nigerians' agro value chain, and the setting up of special agro-industrial processing zones. Earlier, while declaring the summit open, United Nations Secretary General Guterres commended the participating countries for their commitment to addressing the problems of hunger and malnutrition. The Vice President also had a bilateral meeting with the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, where they discussed issues about the development of two countries. The Nigerian Union of Teachers (NUT) in Benue State has threatened to downsize if the government fails to restore promotions and all the arrears of consolidated enhanced allowances removed from their May and June 2023 salaries, among other demands. State Chairman of NUT, Comrade Levi Tarna Akuma, in a telephone conversation with journalists in Makurdi today, emphasized that their promotions were legally carried out by the past administration. Our correspondent reported that the union already issued the state government a 48-hour ultimatum, which elapsed on Wednesday, to right the noticeable wrongs they have observed in the 2-month salaries paid to them a few days ago. The union lamented the nature of the payment of May and June 2023 salaries to primary school teachers in the state, which, according to the communique, was carried out with massive demotion of all teachers on salary grade levels, which they have been enjoying since their last promotion of 2021 and the implementation in February 2022. The Ogun government has approved cash palliative of 10,000 naira for each of its public servants and pensioners. This is made available to Nismen by the Secretary to the state government, Tokumbu Talabi. Mr. Talabi, in a statement released late yesterday in Abeokuta, said the measures was designed for a period of 3 months in the first instance. He added that it was put in place to help workers cope with the economic shocks occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy. He added that payment of the palliative will begin from July, disclosing also that the state government would equally begin giving out food palliatives to those seen as being vulnerable. Mr. Talabi further stated that the state government had approved the in the coming from studio of Sawaba Radio. More news after the short break. Do stay.
This is News on the Hour, Sawaba Radio FM. Stay tuned.
Thank you for staying tuned. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has discharged and acquitted former Governor of Jigawa State Sule Lamido and others over alleged money laundering. A 3-member panel of justice led by Justice Adamu Waziri today held that the Federal High Court in Abuja lacked the requisite jurisdictions to try the case, as most of the issues emanated from outside. The Federal High Court in Abuja had refused a no-case submission filed by the defendant in the matter. Lamido then filed an appeal before the Court of Appeal challenging the ruling of the lower court. Lamido was arraigned in September 2016 before Justice Adeniyi Ademola on 4 to 3 count charges bordering on conspiracy, abuse of office, and money laundering valued at 1.351 billion naira. He was charged with his 2 sons, Aminu and Mustafa, a former head, Weda Abubakar, and 4 companies: Bamaina Holding Limited, Bamaina Company Nigeria Limited, Bamaina Aluminium Limited, Speed International Limited, and Bartholomew Darlington Agoha. The case, which has dragged for over 9 years, suffered a setback after Justice Adeniyi Ademola retired. assigned to Justice Chukwu, who had passed away, forcing the matter to be reassigned to Justice Babatunde Quadri of the court. The Jigawa State government has asked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Kano State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate the status of some of the legacy assets it received when the state was carved out of Kano in 1991. In separate letters signed by the State Commissioner for Special Duties, Awal Sankara, the government asked the anti-graft agencies to determine the status of two land and sea in accessing the properties. Mr. Sankara said several efforts by successive administration ended in futility. He recalled that the assets were allocated to Jigawa State during the asset sharing exercise on May 5th, 1993, through an agreement signed between the then governors of Kano and Jigawa State, Kabir Gaya and Ali Saad Birnin Kudu, respectively, while appealing to the anti-graft agencies to fast-track their investigations. Sankara stressed that the successful resolution of the dispute would promote interstate cooperation and restore the trust and confidence of the Jigawa State government in the asset sharing process. Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi has promised an agricultural revolution to improve farming system to achieve national food security policy in the state. The governor disclosed this in a speech delivered at a reception organized in honor of the State Assembly Speaker Honorable Haruna Aliyu Dengyatan, held in Miga Town, Miga local government area. Malam Umar Namadi stated that as this year's rainy season farming advance, there is need for farmers to consult extension workers for advice on any problem they found in their farms. They shall also use modern farming techniques and other available implements to improve their production. He reiterated the commitment of his government to ensure the supply of fertilizer, chemicals, and other modern farm implements to the doorstep of farmers across all the 27 local government areas of the state. The governor also commended Miga Development Initiative Group for organizing the occasion in honor of their proud Honorable Haruna Aliyu Dengyatan. A federal high court in Kano has fixed 22nd September to deliver judgment in a fundamental human rights suit filed by former governor of the state Abdullahi Ganduje to stop his arrest in investigations on alleged dollar bribery videos. News Agency of Nigeria report that the court on July 7th restrained the State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission, the Nigerian Police Force, and 6 others from inviting, harassing, and arresting Ganduje, his family, or any of his appointee who served under his administration pending the hearing and determination of substantive originating motion. Ganduje in the suit is seeking the order of the court to restrain and others from arresting, investigating, and inviting him over the alleged dollar videos. At the resumed hearing today, counsel of the applicant Matthew Burka, in further affidavit in response of the respondent, said the fundamental right suit was to protect the right of Ganduje and sought to protect his family members and political appointees. However, counsel for the commission, Femi Palana, told the court that the applicant's immunity had expired on May 29th. And now to international scene. 2 people have been rescued alive, but 17 others were found dead after the boat they were all traveling is capsized off Senegal's capital city, according to the local officials. Divers and firefighters are still searching in Dakar a day after the vessel was first discovered. President Macky Sall has offered his heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of the victims, who he says were Senegalese. It is known that where the passengers were going. It is not known where the passengers were going, but their canoe-like boat suggests they were migrants, says Okum neighborhood mayor Indeye Top Ngwe. Migrant deaths at sea are becoming more common in Senegal. The Atlantic migration route is one of the deadliest in the world, with nearly 800 people dying or going missing in the first half of 2023, according to Spanish aid group Walking Borders. Such operations have also taken place recently in Spain to find migrant boats from Senegal that have gone missing, carrying more than 300 people, according to the NGO Caminando Fronteras. A Kenyan court has released a social media influencer and blogger affiliated with opposition leader Raila Odinga's Azimio coalition, and 2 others who had been charged with cyber-related offenses. A digital communication strategist, Fallen Njoroge, with more than 390,000 Twitter followers, was accused of publishing inflammatory remarks targeting President William Ruto, according to an affidavit by the prosecution. Mr. Ngoroje had condemned police brutality in the western Yenza region, an opposition stronghold which turned violent in the latest round of protests that took place between 19 and 21st July. She and her co-accused were arrested in the coastal town of Watamu over a weekend for the hate speech against the state. They were also allegedly found in possession of substances believed to be narcotic drugs during the arrest, but they had all denied the charges. And we wrap up the news with this and a recap of the major stories. From the news, Trade Union Congress TUC gives federal government 2 weeks. Acquitted Sulalamido and Son. Jigawa State government petitions EFCC over alleged sale of own houses by Kano State government. 12 people rescued and 17 others died after and the news editor Muhammad Suleiman Yobe. I am Umusama Adam Iko. Thank you for listening.